بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله العليم الخبير المتقن نظام العالم بلا معين ونصير. فسبحان الله الذي حكمته بالغة وعلمه غزير ونعمه واصلة إلى كل صغير وكبير. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له في نقير ولا قطمير. ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله الذي هدانا بكتاب منير ودعانا إلى الله بالإنذار والتبشير. صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ما دامت الكواكب تسير. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قال موسى لقومه اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ جعل فيكم أنبياء وجعلكم ملوكا وآتاكم ما لم يؤت أحدا من العالمين. صدق الله العظيم. The Urdu poet said, हजार काम है दाग दुनिया में करने के, जो लोग कुछ नहीं करते हैं कमाल करते हैं. हजार काम है दाग दुनिया में करने के. There's 1,000 things that needs to be done urgently. It baffles me how a person can sit idle and say, I don't know what to do. There's a crisis that has rocked the planet. We spoke about the beginning couplets in which, mashallah, he presented before us and reminded us of the many bounties, favors and boons of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us. One is a person who is deprived of the physical organ, and one is a person who is blessed with the organ, but he does not discharge the obligation of that organ in the eyes of Allah. Despite having eyes, you blind. Despite having hands, you are physically challenged. Allah praises the Anbiya in the 23rd juz in Surah Sad. Allah says, وَاذْكُرْ عِبَادَنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ أُولِي الْأَيْدِي وَالْأَبْصَارِ, and narrate to them the tale of Ibrahim and Ishaq and Yaqub. A verbatim, literal face translation: they were men with hands and eyes. Metaphorically, it means they had vision and strength. Literally, it means Uli is the plural of the word Zu, Aidi is the plural of the word Yad, Absar is the plural of the word Basar. The scholars of Tafsir asked the question, when Allah praised them, Allah said they had hands and they had eyes. How is that a praise? And then the ulama write and the mufassirin write is that they discharge the obligation of their eyes and they discharge the obligation of their limbs. And then they further write, in the eyes of Allah, if you have these limbs but they don't display the function and the role, then its presence and its absence is the same. I was sitting in Medina Munawwara earlier this year. The couplets that were recited, my mind was racing through. The Arabic poet said, أطهر أثوابي وقلبي مدنس أطهر أثوابي وقلبي مدنس وأخشى سهام الموت تفجأ غفلة. I'm busy cleaning my clothes while every minute my heart is getting more soiled and dirty. Somebody said in the Arabic language, قلب طاهر في ثوب دنس خير من قلب دنس في ثوب طاهر. It is better to have a clean heart in soiled clothing than a soiled heart in clean clothing. Today, my brother, my heart and your heart is soiled. The enmity, the antagonism, the jealousy that it harbors against others, unfortunately, this is something in which the greatness and the marifat of Allah cannot descend while we are busy trying to keep the external clean. Ideally, external and internal. But between the two, qalbun tahir fi thawbin danis, a pure heart in soiled clothing, is far greater than having, clean clothing and a soiled heart. Utahhiru athwabi. The poet says, I'm busy cleaning my clothes. وَقَلْبِي مُدْنَسْ وأخشى سهام الموت تفجأ غفلة. And I'm afraid the arrow of death might strike suddenly. وما سار بي نحو الرسول ركاب. And sadly I have traversed the world, but I haven't yet put my feet in Medina. The poet is saying, وما سار بي نحو الرسول ركاب وقلبي معمور بحب محمد فما لي في غير الحجاز طلاب يحن إلى أوطانه كل مسلم فقدس منها منزل وجناب فأسعد أيامي إذا قيل هذه منازل من وادي الحمى وقباب فجسمي في مصر وروحي بطيبة. May Allah bless us with Medina. Someone said in the Urdu language, महबूब को देखना मोहब्बत की शर्त नहीं, कोई बिन देखे उवैस करनी बन जाता है और कोई पास रह के भी अबू जहल बनता है. महबूब को देखना मोहब्बत की शर्त नहीं, कोई बिन देखे उवैस करनी बन जाता है और कोई पास रह के भी अबू जहल बनता है. To see the beloved is not a prerequisite of love. Some without seeing Nabi alayhi salam became Uwais Qarni. Umar, if you meet him, exploit the moment and ask him to make dua for your pardon. And I must just mention something. In the 9th volume, Ibn Asakir, in that I read, we know he suffered from leprosy. And then Allah cured him. But illa mawdi'u dirham, the size of 1 dirham was left. This is in the narrations of Muslim Sharif and other kitabs as well. But in Ibn Asakir, in Al-Jild al-Tasi, I read this myself and I was blown off my head. The pious, they were on a different level altogether. When he made dua for shifa, he asked Allah, cure me but leave a trace of my previous condition. Don't cure me in its entirety. You can read it in Ibn Asakir there. Da'li fi jasadi. Allah, leave a condition of my previous illness so I can look at it daily and remind myself of your favor. Have you ever heard in the annals of human history, and these were the giants, these were the legends. I mean, you can go to any medical, that is why I often say, today we have psychology as a name, we have therapy as a name, we have a counselor as a name, we have an arbitrator as a name. But little of it is accomplished and practiced and executed. It's fancy names, but little is accomplished. In the time of the Prophet ﷺ, these phrases were not coined, these names were not given. But psychology, therapy, this treatment was exhibited. It was practiced. He ﷺ said, إِذَا دَخَلْتُمْ عَلَى الْمَرِيضِ, when you visit a sick person, فَنَفِّسُوا لَهُ فِي أَجَلِهِ, then give him hope that he will live. فَإِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَا يَرُدُّ شَيْئًا وَيَطِيبُ بِهِ نَفْسًا. Because your motivation to give him a hope he will live will not alter the reality, but will add value to the remaining days of his life. You tell me of psychology today? Wow! My Prophet ﷺ summarized and condensed it. A woman comes to him. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says, Ata ibn Abi Rabah, the great African scholar, Imam Abu Hanifa said, ما رأيت أفقه من حماد ولا أجمع للعلوم من عطاء. From my 2 ustads, one was Hammad. ما صليت صلاة إلا دعوت لحماد. I never performed a prayer in my life, but I made dua for Hammad. That was his teacher. And I never seen someone who could imbibe more knowledge in his bosom than my scholar Ata ibn Abi Rabah. Salma ibn Kuhail said that there are only 3 people who I know whose motive in the acquisition of knowledge was the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and amongst them was Ata ibn Abi Rabah. ما رأيت أفقه من حماد ولا أجمع للعلوم. So Ata ibn Abi Rabah says, I was sitting and Ibn Abbas told me, ألا أريك امرأة من أهل الجنة. Can I show you Miss Paradise? We got Miss India, Miss UK, Miss Africa, Miss this, Miss that, Miss Paradise. Wow, Miss Paradise. Yeah, show me Miss Paradise. هذه المرأة السوداء. You see this dark-skinned woman? You know, I was reading in Tafsir al-Tabri, in the beginning, wow. Someone had written the introduction of Sa'id ibn Jubair. So in that he writes, أسود اللون أبيض الخصال.
Wow, wow, wow. Aswadul lawn, abyadul khisal. Dark skinned with white qualities. Dark skinned with white qualities. Yeah, that's what matters in the eyes of Allah. That is what matters in the eyes of Allah. What's my qualities? What's my attributes? This is what matters in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything else is just passing. This external body is a passing phase. You know, you look at your baby photo and you're like, nah, that's not me. No, that was you. Those days the cameras were not good. That's you, brother. That's you. Blame it on what pixel it was, what photo. That's you. It's evolving. ألا أريك امرأة من أهل الجنة. Can I tell you? Tell me. هذه المرأة السوداء. You see this dark-skinned woman? أتت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. She came and she said, إني أسرع وأتكشف. I have this epileptic attacks and I pass out. Pray to Allah to cure me. And he sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, إن شئت صبرت ولك الجنة وإن شئت دعوت الله أن يعافيك. Wow. I pray now Allah cures you immediately. You promise me you persevere, I promise you Jannat is yours. You talk of every therapy. Is there any therapy in the world where the therapist can make the patient make peace with his or her condition? They're grappling. The first stage when you diagnose and there's a prognosis, the patient goes in denial. Those are the psychological steps. No, it's not me, it's not me. No. Who said so? It's inconclusive, it's preliminary, it's indefinite. Sometimes these scans are irregular. Then they start making peace. Okay, it could be cancer, but who knows it? It might be benign. It's not malignant. It's benign. It's benign. You're denying, you're fighting, you're resisting. What therapy was this that the patient makes peace? If you make dua, Allah will cure. I'll make dua, Allah will cure you. And if you persevere, Jannah is yours. Right? And she could have said, O Prophet of Allah, what stops you from making dua for cure and Jannah? Because that's how we think. You know, thinking out of the box. Thinking out of the box. So we want innovative ideas. We want people to inject some new vision in our business. So there's a post that's advertised, we want some new thoughts on board. So, you know what, we're asking for some entrepreneurs, some young blood, visionary in their ideas, who have actual science on their cards, who went through all the different challenges and can add it on. So they say, here's the challenge. You drive in and you come at a bus stand and there are 3 people standing there. One is a person who's done you a favor back in life and you always wanted to reciprocate the favor, but the opportunity never presented. You always, this man, you know what, in the back of your mind, and Luqman Hakim used to say, and I quote this very often, he said, one thing in life you never want to remember and one thing you never want to forget. The thing you never want to remember is the favor you did to others. And the thing you never want to forget is the favors others done to you. So there's a person that who's done you a favor and you're like, really, I need to reciprocate and pay back this favor. And the Prophet ﷺ, this was a rich quality in him. When the Sahaba took amnesty in Abyssinia before Medina, present day as Ethiopia, once on a trip we stopped there and I had the opportunity of giving a talk there. And I say opportunity because this was the first land that gave amnesty to the Sahaba. Medina was subsequent, Africa was first. The time of the king at that time was Ashama. Negus was his title, his name was Ashama. The opening verses of the 7 Jews, Allah lavishly praises him. وَإِذَا سَمِعُوا مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ تَرَى أَعْيُنَهُمْ تَفِيضُ مِنَ الدَّمْعِ مِمَّا عَرَفُوا مِنَ الْحَقِّ. وَإِذَا, and when سَمِعُوا, they heard مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ, what was revealed to the Rasul. تَرَى أَعْيُنَهُمْ, you would see their eyes, tears are just trickling down. So anyway, when their delegation came, they gave amnesty. They gave amnesty to the Muslims. When the delegation from Habsha came to Makkah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam stood up and he personally tried to acknowledge them and attend to them. So the Sahaba said, لَوْ تَرَكْتَنَا يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ كَفَيْنَاكَ. Oh Nabi of Allah, don't insult us, please sit down, we will look after them. He said, إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا لِأَصْحَابِي مُكْرِمِينَ. They sheltered my Sahaba when the world banished them. I want to acknowledge them personally and I will serve them with my own hands. Yeah, that's one of the amazing qualities of the Prophet ﷺ. He loved Aisha radiallahu anha like no other woman. He was so fond of her. But he couldn't stop speaking about the loyalty, the faithfulness and the support of Khadija radiallahu anha. To the extent Aisha radiallahu anha said, "Ma tadhkur min ajuz." O Prophet of Allah was an old elderly woman, she's moved on. Hamra al-shidqain, qad abdalaka Allahu khayran minha. She's moved on and Allah's given you some young blood. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Aisha, amanat bi idh kafarani an-nas, saddaqatni idh kadhabani an-nas, wa wasatni bimaliha idh haramani an-nas. Khadija said, I am a prophet when the world was skeptical. She put her funds before me when others were reluctant. She trusted me when others doubted me. I will never forget Khadija. There was a brother in the corporate environment. I used to give dars when I was the imam at one masjid, and I spoke about reciprocation, just to acknowledge and reciprocate. Years later he phoned me, he says, Wallah, may Allah bless you. I took that advice and I brought it into my company, and I just started appreciating and acknowledging and reciprocating people, and I climbed the corporate ladder right to the top. He didn't give me any royalties, but nonetheless he got there on top. Right? I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. Good luck. You know? Because nowadays when things work out, you won't even get a call. You know, when there's a crisis, then crap hits the fan. That's the time they phone you back. Anyway, so I was telling you, thinking out of the box. Right? I just want to relax you. I haven't started, by the way. Our Imam Sahib said the night is young. So, this is like 1.5 nights with half a day. Yeah. So this guy passes by the bus stand, right? And then, so this person did him a favor, he needs to reciprocate. And then there's a person standing there that is terminally ill or that needs to be rushed immediately to the hospital. And next to him is a young girl over whom he had a fantasy and a crush and an infatuation. But he's only allowed to give a ride to one person. Think out of the box, right? So as a young man is thinking, it's like, this is easy, man. That's not a problem. I alight my vehicle, I get off. I call the man who has done me a favor. I said, here's my car. Take the sick man to the hospital and we go for our walk. Anyway, I was saying to you, my brother, the Arabic poet said, just to tie up with the couplets that were read, and I will try and make progress in what I was saying. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu's couplets. He said, إذا اجتمعت الآفات فالبخل شرها. إذا اجتمعت الآفات فالبخل شرها. وشر من البخل المواعيد والمطل. ولا خير في وعد إذا كان كاذبا. ولا خير في قول إذا لم يكن فعل. إن كنت ذا عقل ولم تك عالما فأنت كذي رجل وليس له نعل. وإن كنت ذا علم ولم تك عاقلا فأنت كذي نعل وليس له رجل. ألا إنما الإنسان غمد لعقله ولا خير في غمد إذا لم يكن له نسل. Wow. Wow, these are the words of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu. يتفجر العلم من جوانبه. When he would speak, knowledge would just flow. Allah had endowed and blessed him with immense wisdom. He said, if a person was to enumerate all evil qualities, then there can be no two opinions. The worst of it is to be a miser. If you want to count negative traits, evil qualities, bad habits, practices. In English they say old habits die hard. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you hear a mountain moves, then believe the man. But if someone tells you a person has abandoned an evil habit, don't believe him. إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ بِجَبَلٍ زَالَ عَنْ مَكَانِهِ فَصَدِّقُوهُ. But if you hear of a person has given up an evil habit, forget about it. We become so entrenched. I often quote these words of my honorable father. He says, we are a nation driven by our addictions. that the tobacco industry can boldly print the harm of tobacco, yet not fear a drop in sales. Right? So there's this bold print here, causes cancer, not for pregnant women, pollutes the environment. So the guy's like, yeah, can I have a pack of that cigarettes, the one that causes cancer, please? Yeah, that's the one. Wow. So legally they got to cover their back to highlight and magnify the setbacks of that substance. But today we're so addicted that we look beyond, regardless of the bold print in which. Generally, if it's something negative, then it's in a fine print. It's not very visible. It's just behind. Then when you want to claim, then you open up the clauses, and now you realize, and nobody told you, and you were just ticking and crossing and moving on. But when it's time to claim back, this is the time it haunts you. But no, this is bold and loud and brazen. Yet who cares? Why? We've been addicted. This is how we've become, unfortunately. Allama Rumi makes mention of the incident: a person comes with a torch in broad daylight and is shining it. Brother, what you looking for? No, I'm looking for humans. No, hang on, what's this? You know, in English they say there's a big difference between human being and being human. There's a big difference between human being and being human. We might be human beings, but we're not being human. Allah has taken the responsibility to sustain the need of every person and not the greed of every person. We've decided to live a life of greed, the price of which is others are deprived of their needs. So just to interject and put you into Indonesia for a moment and bring you back to these couplets. On day 2 of our recent visit to Indonesia, we drive for 3 hours from Lombok. So we land in Jakarta. I had just returned from Hajj, and then the Al-Imdaad team told me to travel with. And I was saying during my Hajj discourses this year that wallah, our one-day stopovers, we halt in Dubai or we stop here, we have a layover, and then we book a transit hotel. Our one-day layovers are more lavish than people's permanent homes. My one-day stop in Arafat and Muzdalifah, I need more amenities to pamper me than how people are living throughout their entire life, and this is no exaggeration. So I need a good shower, I need a lovely meal, I need a good massage, I need to rejuvenate, I need to refreshen, just so I can hop onto my next leg, which is a long haul. My 8 hours, there's more around me to pamper me, cover me, insulate me, rejuvenate me, invigorate me to move on, to propel me, than what people are living their entire lives. We drive for 3 long hours from Lombok, and we climb the steep hill. We get right to the top. There is, on the top, there is a little tent. It's scorching hot. It's sweltering hot. The men are in the little tent. The women are sitting outside. I alight the vehicle. I walk up. They're waiting for me to give an address. I've been put in these situations in my life, and trust me, it's been easier for me to speak in front of my teachers, my seniors, in front of the imams of the haram, and in many positions that Allah has put me, and I'm grateful to the Almighty, and I don't pontify or create or say that I'm anything good. But it's been more challenging for me to speak to orphans and widows than speaking in front of my scholars. Now, you rotate your gaze, there's nothing but ruin. I wish you could see what I'm seeing in my mind at this moment. So you're standing on the top of this mountain, you've driven 3 hours, it's extremely hot, it's a windy road, and if you can just create this image in your mind, it's dusty, it's hot, you summit the hill, you get right to the top, you walk up the steep hill, there is the tent, there is the translator there, the men are in the masjid, the women in their hundreds, in their dozens are sitting outside with their babies, and it's 40 degrees. Sitting outside a place where was once their homes. And let me say to you here, my brother, a believer never feels safe in the position in which he is. He knows his Lord can strike at any time. If you feel anchored and firm, and I have secured it for myself, that's the trait of a munafiq and never a believer. أفأمنوا مكر الله أفأمنوا مكر الله فلا يأمن مكر الله إلا القوم الخاسرون. Do they feel safe against the wrath and the chastisement of Allah? That's the lot of the losers. إن الأيدي التي ألقت يوسف في البئر نفس الأيدي التي امتدت إليه ذليلة. The tale of Yusuf tells us something very scary. The very hands, listen to me, and I ask my youth to listen to me. I beg for your undivided attention. The hands that plotted the assassination / infliction on Yusuf alayhi salam, and they came with those hands and they dropped him mercilessly in the well, were the very hands that came before Yusuf with their begging bowl asking him for basic food. Allah can turn the table and reverse the scenario at any time. They took their brother and dropped it. وَأَجْمَعُوا أَن يُلْقُوهُ فِي غَيَابَةِ الْجُبِّ, and they unanimously agreed to drop him inside. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا, and Allah inspired him. Shawkani says, يَجُوزُ أَن يُوحِي اللَّهُ إِلَى مَنْ كَانَ صَغِيرًا. All academic debate, whether he was a minor and it was the wahiya istilahi or lughawi, that's a separate discussion. Allah sent revelation to him and comforted him. You will narrate this tale to these brothers in a time to come. And then things fast forward and life moves on. And these very brothers who once with that very iron fist, once with that very might and strength came and dropped their brother in the well, they come to this very boy who was in the well sitting on the throne, and they say, Ya ayyuhal azizu massana wa ahlana ad-dur. Oh man, how do I translate this? Ya ayyuhal aziz, your excellency, your majesty, massana wa ahlana ad-dur. I'm so sorry to bother you, king. I'm so sorry to bother you. Myself and my dad and my family are going through a very, very tough time. Yusuf knows these are my blood brothers. That's my dad. When you say your family, that's my father. وَجِئْنَا بِبِضَاعَةٍ مُزْجَاتٍ. We've come to you with counterfeit money, with fake. We don't have real, but just as a pretext, just as an excuse. فَأَوْفِ لَنَا الْكَيْلِ. Will you be kind enough to overlook the fact that we don't have genuine funds and just look at our pitiful condition and give us measure in full? Nay, tasaddaq, give us charity. Inna al-aydi allati alqat Yusufa fil bi'ri nafsul aydi allati imtaddat ilayhi dhalila. Things can just turn at any time. Today you are harsh to someone, tomorrow your child is looking for a job by his house. This is life. This is life. Don't ever think someone under my employment can never rise above. Don't ever think that. That's arrogance. That's arrogance. May Allah protect us. And obviously when Yusuf alayhi salam seen this, the moment was too much. And he realized, and the bubble had to burst, and the secret had to be divulged, and the reality had to be exposed, and it came forward. قال هل علمتم ما فعلتم بيوسف وأخيه إذ أنتم جاهلون. Listen, do you folks know what you did with Yusuf and his brother? And now there's a pause and there's pin drop silence, because this tale is only known to us. And you look properly, hey, ay Yusuf ni male? Ito watch lagi ya. Tapro Yusuf ni male? قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف. Oh my word, oh my word. My heart cries, and I harp on this on my talks. The Ummah hasn't taken our time to connect themselves to the Quran. We're just not connecting ourselves to the Quran. One verse of the Quran I was reading, the ulama say, اذهب أنت وأخوك بآياتي ولا تنيا في ذكري. An instruction given to Musa alayhi salam. اذهب, go. What does this ayah say? تهدم السلبية وتبني النشاط. The ayah told Musa, go, which means don't stagnate, don't sit, move. Move in life, achieve, accomplish, exert yourself, move your hands and your legs, don't sit idle. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, إِنِّي لَأُبْغِضُ الرَّجُلَ فَارِغًا لَا فِي عَمَلِ الدُّنْيَا وَلَا فِي عَمَلِ الْآخِرَةِ. If there's something that's despicable to me is to find a human idol, nothing constructive of deen or dunya. This is not the nature of a believer. This is not the nature of a believer. Idhab, move. They say in Africa every morning, a gazelle gets up and it knows it must run faster than the fastest lion or else it will be killed. And every morning in Africa a lion gets up and it knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle or else it will starve to death. It doesn't matter whether you're a lion or a gazelle. When the sun rises, you better be running. You better be running. Where's this paralysis in the ummah? Sluggish from the word go. Gets up on his back foot, tired from the bed, hungry from the table, paralyzed our youth. Imam Muhammad is issuing a fatwa and he passes away. Must you make Rami walking or must you make Rami mounted? Kullu Ramiyin ba'dahu Ramyun. He's giving a verdict and he passes away. Till the last breath they were engaged. Idhab, move. Anta wa akhuk, you and your brother. Tahdim al-fardiyya wa tabni al-jama'iyya. What is anta? You and your brother? Stop this individualism. Pool your resources. Work together. We limbs of one body. We limbs of one body. I keep on saying, imagine it would be the most tragic moment if welfare organizations get into rivalry. There's a victim out there who needs food and we trying to rival amongst ourselves. It's bad enough if anybody gets into rivalry. It's bad enough if anybody gets. Anta wa akhuk, you and your brother work together, network together. When Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam came to Medina, then 5 months later, he paired them up. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was paired up with Kharija bin Zayd radiallahu anhu. Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu was paired up with Itban bin Malik radiallahu anhu. Abdurrahman ibn Auf was paired up with Sa'ad bin Rabi' radiallahu anhu. Zubair ibn Awam radiallahu anhu was paired up with Sulama bin Sulama radiallahu anhu. Uthman bin Affan radiallahu anhu was paired up with Aus bin Thabit radiallahu anhu. Talha bin Ubaidullah radiallahu anhu was paired up with Ka'b bin Malik radiallahu anhu. Mus'ab ibn Umair radiallahu anhu was paired up with Abu Ayyub, Khalid bin Zayd radiallahu anhu. Abu Huzaifa bin Utbah radiallahu anhu was paired up with Abbad bin Bishr radiallahu anhu. Uthman bin Maz'un radiallahu anhu was paired up with Abu al-Haytham radiallahu anhu. Bilal radiallahu anhu was paired up with Abu Ruwayha, Abdullah bin Abdurrahman al-Khathami radiallahu anhu. The list continues. You paired up, just move together. Subhanallah. Idhab anta wa akhuka bi ayati, with my signs. Tahdim al-jahla wa tabni al-ilm. Don't sit with ignorance, learn. آية واحدة من كتاب الله تكفلت لنا بمنهج الحياة فكيف بالقرآن كله. One verse of the Quran gives us direction, teaches us how to live our life. Imagine you get up each morning and you read a verse and it gives you the inspiration and the direction of life. That this is the message of my Allah. It renews it, reinforces it in you. Now you have the balance, you have the vision. Anyway, we get to the top. So I give the talk. I sit in the masjid. I can vividly picture this. Like I often mention, when we went here to Albania and we were in Al-Basan, also in conjunction with Al-Imdaad and Rahma Mercy. So we visited different places, and then as we were coming back, they said there is a orphanage. Would you halt here? I'm like, let's go for it. So we halt and we walk in that place, and there's youngsters, boys and girls, all orphans. You know, you say spend a day at the beach, spend a day in the open, spend a day on a safari. How about spending a day in Jannah by holding the orphans? Spend a day with the orphans. خير بيت المسلمين بيت فيه يتيم يحسن إليه وشر بيت المسلمين بيت فيه يتيم يساء إليه. Ibn Majah. The excellency of a Muslim home is not defined by its location, by its structure, by its position. It's defined by the fact if there's an orphan in that house which is well treated. وَلْيَخْشَ الَّذِينَ لَوْ تَرَكُوا مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّةً ضِعَافًا خَافُوا عَلَيْهِمْ فَلْيَتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَلْيَقُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا. Wow, this is Quran. وَلْيَخْشَ الَّذِينَ لَوْ تَرَكُوا مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّةً ضِعَافًا. If your eyes were to close now and my eyes were to close, what fears would grip your heart regarding the small kids you leave behind? Allah says, now you take on that same passion for your brother whose eyes have closed and take care of his kids. If my eyes close now, I would want my family to rally around. I need my siblings to look beyond their bickering. I need my society to rise above their differences. Embrace my kids, shelter them, father them, nurture them, hold them, guide them, groom them, protect them, preserve them, give them the correct teachings, guidance and inspiration. Why don't we do that for the thousands of youth and orphans that languish across the globe? That is spending time with an orphan. That is spending time in the company of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْيَتَامَى قُلْ إِصْلَاحٌ لَهُمْ خَيْرٌ وَإِن تُخَالِطُوهُم فَإِخْوَانُكُمْ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ الْمُفْسِدَ مِنَ الْمُصْلِحِ وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَأَعْنَتَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَزِيزٌ حَكِيمٌ. See the ahkam that Allah makes mention. Anyway, I walk in the tent. The brothers say, so let me come back to that story. So we walk in, there are youngsters here and there are brothers and girls, all orphans, right? So meaning before the age of puberty, la yutma ba'd al-bulugh. Once you reach the age of puberty, then the academic ruling of being a yatim doesn't apply. We still sympathize and empathize, but the academic ruling of a yatim no longer applies once a person reaches the age of puberty. Of course, the love and care and nurturing continues, so this is just to put things into perspective. So they asked the one girl, will you say some things to the Shaykh and introduce the class? So she says, yes. She comes forward. I speak English properly. I'm like, no problem, my sister, you talk to me. 4 years, my father died. My mother, very sick. My mother got dialysis. You know dialysis? I say, yes, my sister. Yes, my sister. And it's a long day. I'm tired. We're coming back. We just halted. But really, this was my honor because that was a great... I often say sometimes Allah takes you from one continent to another continent just to hear one line. Just to hear one line. Just to see one thing. So we heard about ni'mats. We were coming earlier back this year from Mombasa. We flew with the Al-Imdaad team. We came to Nairobi. From there we flew to Mombasa. We were leaving early morning, and then I said to the brothers, we will have breakfast at the airport. When we got there, there wasn't much to be found and we were quite hungry. Contamination, alcohol, so I said we'll just pass on it. We'll have some green tea and that's about it. So I'm sitting there, you're traveling, you're uneasy, the night was erratic, you're hungry, all things are up and down. And just when I'm sitting and I'm about to sip my water, I see a sister walking and she had a disability. But the disability was very strange, and may Allah grant her ease and afi, and may Allah make it easy for everyone. So when she would walk forward, her toes would be pointed back. Her feet would point back. So I don't know how to describe it. It was the first time I've seen someone with half a leg or one leg or cripple or paraplegic, etc. But this was quite strange. Obviously she had a shoe that was now tailor-made by her situation. And then I said to myself, are you still going to moan about the fact that you didn't have a breakfast? And I said to the colleagues, I said, wallahi, every day of life you will be exposed to people who have more than you and less than you. The choice is yours where you fix your gaze. When you come to the traffic light, the gentleman on the right will be in a more flashy, flamboyant car, and there'll be a person on the left might be walking, holding their child, or in more challenging circumstances. The choice is yours where you fix your gaze. You fix it on the right and you become ungrateful, or you fix it on the left and a tear trickles down and you're grateful to Allah. That's your choice. So the sister said, I was 4, my dad passed away, my mom has dialysis, my life very sad, very depressed. Then Al-Imdaad and Rahmah come here to Albania, Al-Basan, they open madrasa. So I come and I start learning my religion. These were her words. I wish I can mimic her emotions. My whole day sad, but my best moment when I put my head on the ground and make sajda. 13 years old, 12 years. Whoa, man, my body went into spasm. Like, my Allah, I didn't have the sajda at the Kaaba. And And this girl is telling me her best moment, the pinnacle of her ecstasy. أَقْرَبُ مَا يَكُونُ الْعَبْدُ مِنْ رَبِّهِ وَهُوَ سَاجِدٌ. The closest a believer can be to his creator is when he is in prostration. This is pin drop silence. There isn't a dry eye in the room. Everybody is in reflection mode. What they say, the graveyard is a silent place with a loud message. It's a silent place with a loud message. Shaykh, say something. I'm like, my sister, what do I tell you? And I always say this, and I'm grateful to the Almighty. It's the du'as of my seniors and my parents that Allah inspires me on those moments. But put yourself in this situation. Her presence, her words are more inspiring than anything you can possibly say. And you've been asked to inspire. But Quran is inspiration for everyone. Quran is inspiration for everyone. So I looked in my heart, I said, Allah, you give me the correct words. And on the spur of the moment, Allah put it in my heart, and I took the mic and I said, my sister, I have nothing to tell you other than what Allah told the greatest orphan. Alam yajidka yatiman fa'awa. Alam yajidka yatiman fa'awa. وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. Oh Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we found you like an orphan, but didn't we take care of you? Didn't we take care of you? I say to you, my sister, as Allah promised to look after the greatest orphan, this ayah is right across. Allah will take care of you and everyone in this room. I walk into this was 2 months ago, I walk into this tent. The men are inside, the women are outside. I mean, try and visualize this. You have these Boxing Day sales, and you're going to splash money, and you're going to queues, and just to throw out. Sometimes we need to be more frugal and thrifty, and we need to think and be more economic, and we need to ask ourselves some serious questions. Given the crisis around the world, how do we reconcile our flamboyance, our indulgence, our comforts against what is happening in the world? How is this going to play out? How is this going to play out? Like, this is what's happening in the world, and this is what my argument is. So I sat down, the translator is there, I picked the mic. What do I say to these people? I'm looking around, there isn't a roof, there isn't a column, there isn't a foundation. And I'm here to give them hope, knowing very well that I go back to a hotel. In fact, I say this in all my talks, on all these visits of mine with the Al-Imdaad team and others, that Hanzala radiallahu anhu left the company of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then he said, Nafaqa Hanzala, and that was his morality and his nobility and his piety. But wallah, you go out in the camps, you give the food, you help, you sit with them, it starts getting dark, and now you're getting sweaty and you're hungry, and you're like, brothers, let's hop on, we need to go back. And then you get back to the hotel and you sit and you're on that water, and that shower, the water trickles down. That's the time you tell yourself, Nafaqa Sulaiman. Nafaqa Sulaiman. Really? So you were sitting there with them so I'm there in Rohingya, I'm walking on this road, it's 40 degrees, and we're giving out aid, and there is a sister scantily dressed because of lack of provisions. She's got a 4-year kid in one arm, she's got a 3-year in another arm. It starts raining. This mother gets onto the tree to give shelter to these children. I see a child goes under a lorry which was stationary to take shelter with my own eyes. I see an 80-year-old man walking barefoot, carrying wood on his head, trying to cross over a man-made bridge. And when I get to this bridge, the brother nudges me and he says, look. And when I look, we see these 2 young men standing. They've created like a little seat, and the old mother is sitting in here. She must have been 75. I'm just like, drop. Oh my Lord. You know, I wish the whole world can stop what they're doing and just look here. In English they say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at also change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at also change. You don't have to have a new car. You don't have to recover. You need to have a change of attitude, and life has changed. You realize, hey, I'm good. I'm good. All is good. The verse I recited before you. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ اذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. And remember when Musa said to his people, reflect over the bounties of Allah. إِذْ جَعَلَ فِيكُمْ أَنْبِيَا. Allah created prophets amongst you. فِيكُمْ. وَجَعَلَكُمْ مُلُوكًا. And Allah made you all kings. So academically, the scholars dissect this here and they say they all were not kings. How did Allah say? Allah said, Fikum Anbiya, and Allah didn't say Fikum Muluka. Allah said, Ja'alakum Muluka. Allah said that He made all of you kings. And there's different explanations given, and one is, your king is not in the context of a ruler or a governor with a throne. Each one of you lived a life which is no less than a kingdom. And hence you were kings in your own way. And wallah, we are kings in our own ways. We are وَجَعَلَكُمْ مُلُوكًا. The world is tough. The world is tough. That this is the reality of it. But given the challenges and the crisis of the world, we are on a better footing. We are much more soft. Go around and see what's happening, and you will come back to your bed with gratitude and appreciation. So anyway, I deliver my talk. Where do I start with the talk? I said Quran is comfort for everyone. Quran is comfort. You can go for any counseling session. There's a friend of mine who lost his spouse and kids, and he went for multiple counseling, and he said one verse of the Quran comforted me than 10 sessions by the counselor. So I asked him which verse. Is a scholar. قُلْ لَن يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا هُوَ مَوْلَانَا وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Tell them nothing afflicts us but what He has decreed for us. He remains our guardian, and only on Him we trust. He said, throughout my crisis, I read this ayah, it gave me comfort. So I sat down, I read this ayah first to them, the translator translated, I seen them crying. And you know what, my brother, I had an amazing flash, and this is what happens to me when I'm on the ground and you see it, the feeling is different. There's 1,000 ayat that are crossing through my mind. So we built a home, and Hafiz Abdul Samad has said, and I'm going to make the appeal now. So we built a home, and I shudder to say a home because it was a tent. And we erected that basic, temporary, transitory tent in 15 minutes. That was it. We put it up, and this was the home. And the ayah came to my mind, and I read it all my life, but I never seen it. هُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن بُيُوتِكُمْ سَكَنًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن جُلُودِ الْأَنْعَامِ بُيُوتًا تستخفونها يوم ضعنكم ويوم إقامتكم ومن أصوافها وأوبارها وأشعارها أثاثا ومتاعا إلى حين. Wow. What an injustice we've done. We haven't connected. هو الذي, it is Allah, جعل لكم, He's provided for you, من بيوتكم, from your home, sakana, a source of comfort. By Allah, the smile on the faces of those people in that tent is more than our smiles in the most luxurious and palatial of hotels and palaces. I swear by Allah. We went to one place in Lombok, we distributed aid. So after we distributed it, they called us back. So you got to be sensitive because you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, you don't know. They called us back, called the translator, what she's saying, I don't know. They said, no, they want to host you. Like what? Host you? But they don't have anything. What do you mean host us? I said, no, come back. Because you gave us something we need to give you. So there's this little kitchen, and I shudder to call it a kitchen because it has nothing which has the definition of a kitchen, when many of us in our homes have dummy kitchens. Hello. Dummy kitchens. Ke mehman aave to haru lage. Joma haru lage. Right? It's just eye-catching. It looks great. Everything is. This is the superficial world we live. It's an act. We all throw in an act. We live in for the stage, and then the curtains close, man. The curtains close, man. The curtain close, and then the reality comes, and everything comes out. فلو أن إذا متنا تركنا لكان الموت راحة كل حي ولكن إذا متنا سئلنا ذا عن كل شيء. فلو أن إذا متنا تركنا. If death meant you die and it's over, then it's good. Let's die. It's so nice, die. But years after death, it starts. It all starts. The reality comes up. فَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ We will take away that veil that obscured your view. Now you'll see properly. وَرَأَى الْمُجْرِمُونَ النَّارِ. So Allah says, when the kafir stands up on the day of Qiyamah, first Allah says, those that take interest, may Allah save us. How will he stand up from the grave? He will stand up like he was possessed by a demon. He will stand up like he's insane. الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من الماس. Like someone who has been gripped by the influence of the devil. Why? Because he had the audacity to say ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا. They make taqlib in the tashbih. I don't go into the academics. وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. So they will stand up confused. You say he's hallucinating, he hasn't got his balance right. The kafir will stand up, ينظرون من طرف خفي, ينظرون من طرف خفي, looking from the corner of his eye. He's looking but he don't want to look. Sometimes you see something but you don't want to see. You don't want to ask a person a question because you fear in that answer, but he tells you before you ask him. ينظرون من طرف خفي, looking from the edge. And when he comes, رأى المجرمون النار. They will see it with their eyes. فَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُمْ مُوَاقِعُوهَا. ظَنُّوا أَيْ أَيْقَنُوا. They will realize we're going deep down in this fire. وَلَمْ يَجِدُوا عَنْهَا مَصْرِفًا. There's simply no way we can get out of it. There's simply no way we can get out of it. So I had a flash. The Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ فَاتَتْهُ صَلَاتٌ فَكَأَنَّمَا وُتِرَ أَهْلُهُ وَمَالُهُ. The one who missed one prayer deliberately is like he lost all his family and his belongings. Now I'm looking around and I'm seeing these people, they don't have a home and they don't have family, and Allah's Nabi's tashbih and analogy is free from exaggeration. And he said, if you've missed one prayer, it is as though you've missed all your family and your belongings. I'm trying to digest the gravity of the omission of prayer when I'm reconciling it with what I'm saying. Can you imagine how catastrophic it is? He sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who was an embodiment of compassion, said that start prayer, and if they pray at home, فَأُحَرِّقَ عَلَيْهِمْ بُيُوتَهُمْ, then I will go burn their homes. A man whose heart was burning for the preservation of his ummah till his last breath. مَنْ تَرَكَ مَالًا فَلِأَهْلِهِ وَمَنْ تَرَكَ دَيْنًا أَوْ ضِيَاعًا فَعَلَيْهِ. Who's going to say this in the annals of human history? You die leaving behind your wealth. Despite being your Nabi, I'm the closest to you, your family and your heirs can have your wealth. But if you die leaving behind debts and children, tell your family they can step out. Your Nabi will father those children and your Nabi will settle those debts. Where are you going to find that? Where are you going? مَنْ تَرَكَ مَالًا فَلِأَهْلِهِ مَنْ تَرَكَ مَالًا فَلِأَهْلِهِ. Right? So I read that verse of the Quran, I read another verse of the Quran in which I try to the best of my ability to give comfort. And then we come out and they stand up to receive the aid. And it's a very humbling thing because you're not giving it. So sometimes, when we are made in charge of organizations or trustees, then we give off a notion as if it's our favor. May Allah protect us. Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab said, I have no access to the treasures of the Muslims other than the guardian of an orphan has to the wealth of an orphan. My role in the discharging of that wealth is like the guardian of an orphan. It's and he used the analogy of an orphan because this is a very sensitive role. That you have to protect that wealth. فَإِنْ آنَسْتُمْ مِنْهُمْ رُشْدًا فَادْفَعُوا إِلَيْهِمْ أَمْوَالَهُمْ وَلَا تَأْكُلُوهَا إِسْرَافًا وَبِدَارًا أَنْ يَكْبَرُوا وَمَنْ كَانَ غَنِيًّا فَلْيَسْتَعْفِفْ وَمَنْ كَانَ فَقِيرًا فَلْيَأْكُلْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ فَإِذَا دَفَعْتُمْ إِلَيْهِمْ أَمْوَالَهُمْ. Allah has legislated it. Allah has documented it in great detail. If you see rushd and nakira, any degree of maturity, here's your money. Your father died, this is what he left behind. That's the access I have. That's the access I have. So we start distributing. A woman brings a baby 2 months ago. Child is probably about 3 months old. The mother barely has anything adequate. The child has basically nothing. There is no home. And they're sitting outside in the sun and they're smiling. I was like, really? Is this real? Is this true? So she gives the child to the local imam, and then they pass the child to me, and she tells him to tell the sheikh to make dua. So I take the child and I make dua. She says, no, make dua that my child must become an alima of deen. Allah, subhanallah. It's like there's no food, there's no shelter, there's no drinks, and the request for the dua is that she grows up and becomes an ambassador of deen. So we walk in through and we get to another side. And just when we get there, there's a board that's dangling on the bark of a tree. So the brother nudges me and he says, Shaykh, do you know what's written here? I'm like, no, I don't. He says, it's written here in the vernacular language. We don't have money. Please don't come and sell ice cream here and make our children cry more. You know what an influx of emotions I went through at that time? You know what gripped my heart, my mind and my body with the cap of a father on my head and the demands of my children on my head and my personal fantasies, dreams and visions and desires and aspirations and ambitions. And this is the board dangling right on the top, at the top. You know when Sayyidina Umar was coming back from Medina, then at the border of Medina and Syria, he met an elderly woman. And Sayyidina Umar said to her, sister, do you know about Umar? She says, not much, but I heard about him, but may Allah destroy him. I don't know too much, but I heard, may Allah destroy him. So Sayyidina Umar said, and aunt, why would you say that? So she said, I'm sitting here on the borders, right in this remote place here. He's done nothing for me. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu said to her, and she was clueless of the fact that she was talking to the man himself, but how can Umar be abreast and up to scratch with what's happening right on the remote borders of Medina and Syria? And she gave a simple answer. If he doesn't take the time and the trouble to find out what's happening, then he must step down. He doesn't deserve the position. He must step down. Oh, did that pierce the heart of Umar ibn Khattab? Did that pierce the heart of Umar ibn Khattab? When the Muslims were fighting in Alexandria, Muawiyah bin Khudayj radiyallahu anhu, not Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, Muawiyah bin Khudayj. He was the envoy. Sayyidina Umar was pacing in anticipation to see what's happening. So the envoy came in. So it was midday, it was siesta, Sayyidina Umar was sleeping. Umar radiallahu anhu got wind that the envoy had come. So he said, call the envoy. He said, give us the update, what's the story about the Muslims? So he narrated the sequence of events. So Sayyidina Umar rebuked him and said, you know, we waiting here, you come here, you don't come straight, you delaying, you taking so much time. He said, I thought it's midday, you'll be sleeping, I didn't want to disturb your sleep. I thought when you'll get up, I'll come to you. Sayyidina Umar said, لَإِن نِمْتُ النَّهَارِ ضَيَّعْتُ الرَّعِيَّةِ وَلَإِن نِمْتُ اللَّيْلِ ضَيَّعْتُ نَفْسِي فَكَيْفَ النَّوْمُ بَيْنَ هَذَيْنِ يَا مُعَاوِيَةِ. Muawiyah, if I sleep by night, when will I talk with my Allah? And if I sleep by day, when will I discharge the obligation of this ummah? With these two tasks on my shoulders, you find me the time and I'll put my head on the pillow. Muawiyah, if I sleep by night, when will I talk with my Allah? How many youth, their days, their weeks, their months on gadgets, on devices, on haram, killing and destroying their life, perusing through the most unpleasant material, when this is what is happening in other parts of the world. It hit my heart and I cried in my heart. I said, Allah, I'm here, I don't know if I'll come back. And like I always say to people when you attend in a funeral, respect the moment and respect the deceased. Your phone can carry on, your conversations can carry on. The next time you come to the graveyard will be for another funeral, not for this man. Afford this funeral and this marhum your full focus. Afford it to him. You're not going to be back here for him. You'll be back here for someone else, or your body will be here. But give it your full undivided attention. I said, Allah, I'm not going to come back and I can't bring joy to them. But Allah, as a father, my heart cries out, my Allah, you make the means. Allah is my witness that I can give them ice cream. Trust me, 5 minutes didn't pass by, a man comes on his scooter selling ice cream. You know, sometimes you make a dua and it happens and you say, I wish I made another dua. This time I didn't regret my dua. It was exactly what I asked and what my Allah gave. The man came, we couldn't speak, so I asked the brother there, I said, negotiate. I told the group, I said, please, we need to do it, whatever it is here. Even if I can, like I always say, we cannot help everyone, but everyone can help someone. And this is the aim. Turn the wheel, my brother. You help him, he helps him, and so on it moves. And we make the world a better place. Our life on this earth is an examination hall. We're going against the grain. We're asking for a sofa and a comfort place in an examination hall. We're going against the grain. Lidu lil mawti wabnu lil kharab. That's the Arabic proverb. Lidu lil mawti. Give birth only to die and build only to destroy. Lidu lil mawti wabnu lil kharab. So he comes in. He has quite a few water ice creams. He has his ice block. We negotiate. He realized our desperation. He took his price. Good luck to him also. Alhamdulillah, if he made some extra for him. Took it. And I'm given the daunting task to distribute. As pleasurable it is, it's equally daunting. It's exciting to bring joy, but it's also scary to give when you know it's going to be depleted and others will still look you in your face. So I start the distribution. My brother, if you want to believe me, woman at the age of 70 queuing up for a water lolly. For a water lolly. You know what I mean? My kid won't jump if you buy him a new smartphone with that who wants this color? Yeah. Who wants this? If I hop into a brand new car, my thrill, my exhilaration, my excitement will be more short-lived than the joy these people had in taking the ice cream. They took it, and now I'm trying to keep my eye on the child and the elderly, and this thing is getting depleted. And I'm like, Ya Allah, let this provision not be exhausted, my Allah. I don't have what it takes to put the hands of my Nabi in it. I don't have the saliva of my Nabi that will allow for it to continue. But I don't know, and I'm trying, and I'm rotating my gaze, and I'm trying, and they're all crowding, and one on top of the other, and it's just basic, simple ice cream. And we're distributing, and the last child looks at me, and there is nothing left. And it still gives me nightmares till today. It still gives me nightmares. They say, let's move. I said, no, sit down. So they asked me why. I said, have you forgot the narration of Umar ibn Khattab when he was patrolling Medina? And then he prepared food. And he told Abdurrahman, I see them crying, let me see them smiling. And so we sat under the tree and just looked with a light eye and seeing the smile on their face and then licking away that ice cream. I gave that report on a radio station from there that night in South Africa. A brother phoned me. He said, may Allah bless you. I was sat down on the dinner table and I heard your report. By Allah, I couldn't eat a morsel. I could not eat a morsel. You need to connect me immediately, and I want to reach out immediately. Before I continue with my talk, I want to ask here at this moment, who's ready to make a commitment? We're asking for 25 homes at £2,500. You can network with your family and raise that funds. Can we have some show of hands, inshallah, to reach out? May Allah bless you, my good brother. What's your good name? MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. That's one house, inshallah, one shelter for those people in that crisis. Can we have another show of hand? And I'm not saying yourself, with those around you. May Allah bless you, my good brother. May Allah bless you, my good brother. Second hand. Can we have, we'll continue, inshallah. May Allah bless you. I know that I've taken much of your time. Can we have a third hand, my brother? Someone here, inshallah. Someone. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. When Sayyidina Uthman donated in Tabuk, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, who? He said, Mi'ata ba'irin bi ahlasiha wa 100 camels laden. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said again, who? Say, now when we give, he said, now I'm done, bhai. Tarate wat karach. Sayyidina Uthman stood up again, Mi'ata ba'irin bi ahlasiha wa aqtabiha. Another 100 camels. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said again, Sayyidina Uthman came and gave 10,000 dirhams. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَكَ يَا عُثْمَانِ مَا قَدَّمْتَ وَمَا أَخَّرْتَ وَمَا أَسْرَرْتَ وَمَا أَعْلَنْتَ وَمَا أَخْفَيْتَ وَمَا أَبْدَيْتَ وَمَا كَانَ مِنْكَ وَمَا هُوَ كَائِنٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. The third hand, inshallah. May Allah bless you. May Allah bless you, my good brother. May Allah, say Ameen, brothers. Ameen, ameen, ameen. May Allah grant you goodness. May Allah grant you barakah. May Allah answer all your du'as. May Allah give prosperity to your family and everyone. May everyone. I'm saying each one of us can network, make a commitment, take on the responsibility. See, when Badr took place, what did Allah say in the 10 juz? Allah said He just took you out. And if you were to sit down and discuss and apply your mind and strategize, then you would have debated the date and probably you would have never come out. So sometimes you need to leap. وَلَوْ تَوَاعَدْتُمْ لَاخْتَلَفْتُمْ فِي الْمِيعَادِ وَلَوْ تَوَاعَدْتُمْ لَاخْتَلَفْتُمْ فِي الْمِيعَادِ وَلَكِنْ لِيَقْضِيَ اللَّهُ أَمْرًا كَانَ مَفْعُولًا. But Allah wanted something to occur which He had decreed. So the Prophet of Allah just got them out. So sometimes you need to leap, you need to make commitments. We make commitments economically beyond our budget, beyond our economic muscle. We then exert ourselves. Why don't push ourselves when it comes to this? May Allah bless you. 2 more hands and I'll continue with my talk. I can see that whisper within you. Don't suppress it. Suppress the whisper of evil and exhibit the whisper of good. Somebody here inshallah that will network with their family and reach out. This is the moment. See, we might not reach out to those places, but when that story comes to our door, how can we turn it away? The story comes to our door. There was a brother in Sri Lanka. He donated $10,000 to a masjid in Canada. I met him in Sri Lanka and I gave a talk in that masjid in Canada. And when I went there, I told him, mashallah, the masjid is so beautiful. So I asked him, he said, I thought to myself, where will I ever spread deen in that place? But Allah brought the opportunity to invest at my door. How can I turn it away? Wow. The opportunity came to my door. So who else, inshallah? Someone, inshallah, that will network with their family and make a commitment. Inshallah, even if you can't deliver the entire amount, whatever it is, you make a commitment that inshallah you're going to work. We have our kids that come home and say we're raising funds and help me chacha and mama and nana and dada and everybody, make them happy. Get the kids on board to help children from other parts of the world. One more brother, inshallah. Inshallah, may Allah reward you all. Anyway, so I was saying, we distributed this. Then we said to the brothers, we said, because my heart was shattered. So I said to them, can we put up 10 tents here the next day? So they said, that's fine. So we called the locals and we said, we're going to put up 10 tents tomorrow. But the village itself had like more than 300-400 homes, families. Now the challenge is, how do you identify 10 tents? Right? And this is one of the biggest challenges I encounter whenever I reach out, is that as an individual, you need to keep yourself motivated within your own self. Because when you look at the crisis, you yourself can become so despondent because you realize that your impact is so marginal. Whatever you're doing, fi nafsihi is great and may Allah can accept anything. But when you look at the extent of the catastrophe, and then you look at what you're delivering, it's a drop in the ocean. So we said to them, can we put up 10 tents? They said, okay, but how are you going to identify it? So we said, well, that's something you're going to help us. He said, if you cannot give us 300 tents which we need, don't give us 1 tent, we all will stay without anything. And that 10 tents build us 1 masjid. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Look at the selfless spirit. Look at the selfless spirit. We stood at one place where a masjid was. This is in Indonesia, in Lombok, what I personally experienced. So there was a madrasa that was happening here, which also unfortunately was struck down by the quake. So we went there. The children still come there, sit outside what was their madrasa, and they still learn their kitab and their Quran. The brother who was taking us around, he was the most amazing. He was the most amazing. He showed us all these places, and he never spoke about his own tale. So I then asked him, I said, Shaykh Muzammil, Aish ahwalak fi baytik? What's the story? Because we used to converse in Arabic. He spoke the vernacular. I couldn't speak that. English, he doesn't speak broken. So he took me to his Madrasatul Banat. It's a 3-story building. And if I tell you how flimsy it is, ala shafa jurufin harin, on the verge of collapsing. This man is so amazing, it's beyond words. So there's 100 girls that are being accommodated or were being accommodated here. When the quake struck, now there were multiple quakes and tremors, it struck. So the house adjacent to the masjid was his mum, the entire roof caved in. His wife was on top, and by the will of Allah, she moved like 5 seconds before the roof collapsed. 5 seconds. 5. وَمَنْ كُتِبَتْ مَنِيَّتُهُ فَلَيْسَ يَمُوتُ فِي أَرْضٍ سِوَاهَا. When Allah decrees your death, you will be at that moment, and when Allah hasn't decreed it, you will move away a minute before. That is our belief. لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. You're not going to bring it forward, you're not going to delay it by a moment. So, from a structural perspective, this is in a very hazardous situation. It's in a very, very hazardous situation. Believe it or not, when I went into what was supposedly the kitchen, the stench was so strong that I actually had to excuse myself, and this is the cooking facility for these 100 girls that are acquired in Deen. Now, every night, this man with his spouse, children and 100 girls, they leave this facility out of fear of more tremors, and they walk down the road, and there's about 10 tents, and they sleep in the tents. So people have actually moved out of their homes, because if they're in a tent and a tremor comes again, there's less chance of them losing their life than staying in a building where the column or the concrete or the slab will fall. In fact, I was doing an interview and walking through the ruins. And as we stepped by one house, oh man, nothing remained in that house but the shoes of a baby. You know, as a parent or a grandparent, you pick up the shoes of your grandchild and you kiss it. Everything about your child is nostalgic, is passionate, is memorable. You cherish it, you love it, it's dear, it's adorable, it's so amazing. And I look at this house, there's nothing left but the shoes of a child. You compel to tear. So we're walking out from there and we move to another house, and I'm standing there and 3 brothers run out of the neighborhood and they're screaming. I don't know what's happening. So the local said, he's telling you to move out. We stepped away and the slab dropped. We stepped away and the slab dropped. And obviously they told me, you better be cautious now, you know, your own life is. But really when you get into it and you see it, it swallows. There's 2 ways to get out of your depression, my brother. One is to go to some anti-depression workshop, or to pop some pill and then get addicted to it, or go out on the ground and see life in its true sense. Go see life in its true sense. Just take a walk. Go look at it with the eye of reflection. وَمَنْ صَحِبَ الدُّنْيَا طَوِيلًا تَقَلَّبَتْ عَلَىٰ عَيْنَيْهِ حَتَّى يَرَى صِدْقَهَا كِذْبًا. وَمَنْ صَحِبَ الدُّنْيَا طَوِيلًا تَقَلَّبَتْ عَلَىٰ عَيْنَيْهِ. So every night when the sun would set, Uwais Qarni rahmatullah alayhi used to say, Allah, the last piece of bread I had in charity, I gave it. Allahumma man mata ju'an fala tu'akhidhni bihi. Allah, whoever dies today out of hunger, don't hold me responsible. I gave the last piece of bread in charity. And every night when the sun would set, he would give anything surplus in clothing beyond what he wore in charity, and he would say, Allahumma man mata uryanan fala tu'akhidhni bihi. Allah, whoever dies out of lack of shelter or due to nudity today, Allah, don't hold me. My empathy, my sympathy, but don't take me to task. I got nothing else by me surplus in my life. My brother, you go in your closet, let me go in my closet. You go in your balance, let me go in my balance. الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَ. I'm going to leave you with one quotation and round up here. So I was saying to you in that early couplets of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, إِذَا اجْتَمَعَتِ الْآفَاتُ فَالْبُخْلُ شَرُّهَا. If you want to enumerate everything, if there's a quality that Allah loves, it's generosity. My brother, Allah loves spending so much. I say this to you on the strength of Quran and Sunnah. Generosity can atone for a lot of your mistakes in life. And unfortunately, to mize can compromise many of your good actions. To withhold is so negative. Imam Shafi said, I was in Toronto for a program, an old man came after my talk. He said, may Allah bless you. May Allah bless you. You've given me a lot of hope and inspiration. I'm so old. I did a lot of wrong in my life. Tell me something quickly, my man, that can solve my life. I held the chacha's hand. I whispered in his ears. I said, give charity, uncle. Give charity. Whatever you can do, give charity. وَمَنْ كَثُرَتْ عُيُوبُهُ فِي الْبَرَايَا وَصَرَّكَ أَنْ يَكُونَ لَهَا غِطَاءُ تَسَتَّرْ بِالسَّخَاءِ فَكُلُّ عَيْبٍ يُغَطِّيهِ كَمَا قِيلَ السَّخَاء. Sayyidina Imam Shafi said, The one who's got a lot of wrong advice and he wants to expedite his growth. He really wants to leap forward and he wants to atone for all his mistakes. His guaranteed way out is charity. That's guaranteed for him. تَسَتَّرْ بِالسَّخَاءِ فَكُلُّ عَيْبٍ يُغَطِّي. So the Ahl al-Lugha say, and I conclude on this here, the Ahl al-Lugha say, there's four things. One is bukhal, where a person mises in what he has. Right? الَّذِي يَأْكُلُ مِن مَّالِهِ وَلَا يُوكَلُ مِن مَّالِهِ. Oh my son, there are two types of people. They are the givers and the takers. The takers eat better, the givers sleep better. You've only lived life when you've empowered someone who cannot pay you back. That's the time you've lived life. A society grows great when you plant a seed, knowing that you won't live to see the shade of that tree. But that tree will blossom and that shade will come, and one day a child going to school will stop here and have his lunch here. And one day someone will stop here and take rest here. And that's a good enough investment for me. So let me plant that seed. That's when a society is growing great. When I think beyond myself, when I leave behind investments, when I think outside my narrow, limited, selfish ideas, that's when we grow in, that's when we live in. But when we think only for myself, that you know what, give him and he'll give me back. No, no, no. One tafsir of this ayah, وَمَا آتَيْتُم مِّن رِّبًا لِيَرْبُوَ فِي أَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ فَلَا يَرْبُو عِندَ اللَّهِ. One commentary Mufti Shafi Sahib Rahmatullah has written is that same. Where you do someone a favor, now his daughter is getting married, give her something, hopefully when my daughter get married, he'll come bigger and better. No, that's not life. You live life. Abu Bakr is liberating slaves. His father Abu Quhafa is not a Muslim. His father said, I don't understand your generosity. Why don't you at least liberate people who are strong? They're poor, so they don't have money. But if they're strong, tomorrow you find yourself in an argument, you can call upon them ethically, morally, they have to assist you. They're your bodyguards, they're your bouncers, they're your butlers, they're around you, man, because they keep morally they're obligated to you. What did Abu Bakr say? Radiyallahu anhu. Wow, wow. He said, Dad, I look to help those people in whom I do not see the remote possibility of reciprocation, so that I can take my full reward from Allah tomorrow. You know, in Africa they say greet the man nicely, he's a minister tomorrow. Yeah. Today he's a regular man, tomorrow he'll be in the cabinet. Greet this man, you know, baap jaye to ye seht ban hai. So you greet it with other motives. No, no. Greet with a clean eye. Help with a clean eye. Where you know this man will never see you. وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِن نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِن نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. And he doesn't have the favor of anyone that he's trying to offset by his kindness. إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. He's exclusively driven by this venture to please Allah. Let him know his Allah will be pleased. وَلَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى. Wow. So one is bakhil. الَّذِي يَأْكُلُ مِن مَّالِهِ. He eats وَلَا يُوكَلْ. Nobody else eats from his money. This is mine. Nobody else. May Allah protect us from that. May Allah save us from that. But a good quality, when you continue performing it, it grows to another good quality. And an evil quality, if you don't curb it, it becomes worse. This is the nature of sin and virtue. You develop the habit of sleeping with wudu, one day you'll get up for tahajjud. You develop the habit of sleeping with wudu, one day you'll read Quran and sleep. It will take you to another good. Evil will take you to another evil. It starts off and it moves on. So the second is shuh. And what is shuh? لا يأكل من ماله ولا يوكل من ماله. His wealth comes to a point that he doesn't eat from it, nobody else eats from it. You know, some people, they have the habit, if you buy a jacket, you must wear it next year winter. I don't know if you've ever seen people like that. It's cold now, you buy a jacket, no, but whenever you buy, biji ira pachi perwano. Amreti ni perwano. Koi garma sari ho pachi ape perwo. Are bhai, where's the logic? You bought it, now you need it, now put it on. Right? But this is it. Your body becomes such, you cannot use it. You just cannot part with it. May Allah save us. May Allah save us. Salma radiallahu anha's father was known as Zadul Rakib. وَكَانَتِ الرُّكْبَانِ لَا تَتَزَوَّدْ إِذَا تَصِيرْ مَعَهُ. So he was so generous that if you go with him, you can forget your purse and your wallet. And some people, if they travel with you, you must take 2 wallets. Eto jani joye muki now hai. Oh, Maruk, good. No, be generous, my brother. I've seen people. Ooh, wallahi, I've seen generous people as happy people and misers as miserable. Go and see in the world. Those who can spend, they're happy. They're happy. They'll tip this one, they'll give that one. Give people more than they want and you're a winner, man. Make people happy. Make people happy. It's not my money, it's not your money. When did we ever own it? What they say in English, some people are so poor, so poor, so poor, the only thing they got is money. They got no family, they got no respect, they got no love, they got no value, they got no character, they got nothing. The only thing they got is money. And some people are so rich, the only thing they don't have is money. They are so rich. His children are around him. See, you can have children, but the Quran didn't only say children are ni'mat. وَبَنِينَ شُهُودًا. وَبَنِينَ شُهُود. Walid bin Mughira, Allah praised him. Allah said he had a lot of money. We gave him Mahattu lahu tamhida. He was known as Rayhana to Quraysh, the fragrance of the Quraysh. His annual income was 1 million dinars. He had 10 sons. Allah said we gave him sons, but Allah didn't only highlight son. Allah said shuhud, his sons were around him. You have sons and they're around the world and they're not with you. What ni'mat is that? وَبَنِينَ شُهُودًا. Some people are so rich, the only thing they don't have is money. And some people are so poor, the only thing they have is money. They don't have family, they don't have company, they don't have friends, they don't have nothing. So from bukhl it becomes shuh. Shuh alladhi la ya'kul wa la yukal. He doesn't eat, nobody eats. Nobody eats. It's just a messes. That is why the ulama say one of the greatest regrets on the day of Qiyamah is a man leaves behind money. His son inherits it. His son spends that money in charity and earns Jannah. And the man who toiled and earned the money goes to Jannah. Can you imagine that pain? Can you imagine that pain? Right? Number one, it's difficult enough in this world. If someone is your employee, someone is your subject, he's always below you. He's got a sub's life. He always dresses inferior to you. You're always above him. The day of Qiyamah, he's ahead of you in Jannah. It's turned around. Can you imagine that? Yeah. But this is my worker. But Qiyamah is different. In kullu man fis samawati wal ardi illa ati ar-rahmani abda. Abda. I always give this analogy because I fly. That when you flying, you identify with your boarding pass. A man dressed in simple clothing, but if he's got a darajatul ula or darajatul rijal al-amal, he's traveling in business class. You could be well attired, well clad, but for the duration of the flight, comfort is his and not yours, because we look at nothing now other than your boarding pass. We look at nothing else. He's patriotic to the airline, so they bumped him up to business, so he enjoys more perks. My brother, on the day of Qiyamah, they won't look at your color, your race, they look at your boarding pass of taqwa or not. That's it. Okay, you in that queue. Yeah, you wait. Yeah. The boarding pass defines your profile, sets the tone, creates the atmosphere for the duration of that flight. So the person reaches a level that he doesn't eat, nobody eats. That is the second stage. Then the third one is sakha, alladhi ya'kulu min malihi wa yukalu min malihi. That from what Allah gave him, he eats and people eat. He eats and others enjoy, alhamdulillah. But then the ulama say there's one higher than sakha as well, and that is Jude. Alladhi yukalu min malihi wa la ya'kulu min malihi. That he reaches such a level that people eat from what he has, he doesn't eat from his own by himself. But you're not going for umrah? No, I had enough umrahs in my life. Now my thrill is to see with my money how others can see the house of Allah. You're not changing your house, we changed it enough. I didn't get happier, my wife didn't get happier, and we didn't get closer. Food tasted the same also. You see, my wife, she dresses to kill, and she cooks in the same way. Now my thrill is to see what Allah gave me, how others can go, how others can enjoy. My brother, we were in Mombasa, I was telling you. So we opened up a masjid. Al-Imdaad, somebody donated, they asked me to give the talk. The entire community came out, we cut the ribbon, I went in, I gave the talk, everyone came out there. After the talk was over, they said, we want you to meet one old woman here. So I said, please, because life has taught me this year that you don't know which person and which meeting is going to be that meeting for your akhirat on the day of Qiyamah. You really don't know. So, but curiosity is playing on me. Why? Anyway, we conclude the whole thing. It's hot. We come out. We go to the back of the masjid. It's a thatched roof. It's a mud wall in a place called Masumareni. February this year, deep down in East Africa. So I walk at the back. This woman comes on her walking stick, hunched. She walks. She comes out. The local interpreter translates. Assalamu alaikum, sister. My average conservative estimation, she would be 80 plus. Mud walls, a little nudge, that wall will cave in. Thatch roof, deep down in the jungle, in the deserts of Africa. She comes out, she greets the interpret. So I'm still like waiting, like why would you want me to meet this old lady, but I'm holding my lips and my lips are sealed. They said, Shaykh, we wanted you to meet this woman. She donated the land for the masjid. Oh man. One of my friends always says, Qiyamah is a day full of surprises. Full of surprises. The man you thought is going to be right in front might be right at the back. And the man you thought would be right at the back might be walking miles ahead of you. Might be walking miles ahead of you. Who has a monopoly over this deen? Nobody's in charge. We don't know who's going to walk away with what on the day of Qiyamah. This was one piece of land she had. She could either sell this and convert her mud wall into a brick wall. But she opted to live and die in a mud wall and donate this land for the masjid. A South African donor tapped into the opportunity and built the masjid. I was just green with envy. Wallahi, I can picture her with her walking stick, 80 years old plus. She came out, they said she donated the land. I'm like, Ya my Rabb, I don't know, can I inspire these people or these trips are inspired? Go out, my brother, go out, go and see what's happening in the world. It will change your whole life. But if we're sitting in our own place here, then it will only be the same moaning, groaning, complaining, and we're getting nowhere with life. As we come out of there and we drive in, it had just rained before that. There's potholes on the road. Now you know they say you drive on the left side of the road. And in Africa, you don't drive on the left side, you drive on what's left of the road. One is you drive on the left side of the road, and one is you drive on what is left of the road. Right? There's potholes on the road. With my own eyes, I seen the kids run out of the neighborhood. When the car crosses, they get to the pothole, they scoop that water from the road and drink it. أفرأيتم الماء الذي تشربون أأنتم أنزلتم. I can't tell you what Quran does to me, man. I don't know. I will die, but I will never able to convey what Quran is. I cannot, it like pierces my heart. I keep on crying to my Allah in my du'as, Allah, how do I convey to the ummah what your message is? I always say a mother's sentiments cannot be translated by a father. How can I interpret the Quran and convey it? A mother is gone out and she says, when my son come back from school, tell him I'm sorry, I had to go, give him one hug, maaf karje, avi jawa, you know, all that love. And when the child comes back, I say, hey, your mother left her food here, and I don't know where is it, you can phone her. That's it. I'm not going to, hey, your mother left your food, and if you don't know where is it, phone her. That's it. I can convey the message. I cannot translate the sentiments. My brother, I can translate Quran. I cannot convey the emotions. I cannot. I make i'tiraf of my, and who can? Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam can. Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam can. Other than that, who can? أَفَرَأَيْتُمُ الْمَاءَ الَّذِي تَشْرَبُونَ. Did you look at this water one day when you drank it? Did you look at it one day? أَفَرَأَيْتُمُ الْمَاءَ الَّذِي تَشْرَبُونَ أَأَنْتُمْ أَنزَلْتُمُوهُ مِنَ الْمُزْنِ أَمْ نَحْنُ الْمُنزِلُونَ. Do you bring it down from the cloud or do I give it to you? لَوْ نَشَاءُ جَعَلْنَاهُ أُجَاجًا. I'm seeing the child scooping the water. I'm seeing the child scooping it. So I told the brother, stop. So he said, why? I said, just stop. I want to get off and cry. So he's like, what do you mean you want to cry? You know Sayyidina Ali, what he used to do? كان يقلب كفه ويخاطب نفسه. He would sometimes just sit and then rotate his palm, talk to himself and cry. Like, Ali needs to cry or I need to cry? He would just turn his hands, talk to himself and ask himself questions. I'm like, I'm sitting here and this is this child doing this here and this is my life. This is my life. This is how I'm living. لَوْ نَشَاءُ جَعَلْنَاهُ أُجَاجًا. You know, if we want, we will make this water unpleasant. We'll make it bitter and salty. فَلَوْلَا تَشْكُرُونَ. Why don't you start being a bit grateful? Why don't you start being a bit grateful? In Jalalain it's mentioned, when Allah said, قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ أَصْبَحَ مَاؤُكُمْ غَوْرًا. Ask them if Allah causes the water to go deep down in the earth and Allah stops the water from the top. Who's going to give you access to water? In Jalalain, this riwayat is mentioned in the matan. So one arrogant person said, no, we will reach the water with technology. بِالْفُؤُوسِ وَالْمَعَاوِلِ فَذَهَبَ مَاءُ عَيْنِهِ فَعَمِيَ. When he said we'll reach it, Allah dried up the water in his eye and he became blind. Allah dried up the water in his eye and he became blind. I was sitting now in Medina, we're talking of Indonesia, just about 6 days before Hajj, after Isha, and I'm looking at the dome and I'm crying and I'm reflecting and I'm sending salawat. Ajab faiz hai mere nabi ka e iqbal, durud mein un pe padta hu, rahmat mujh pe barasti hai. Ajab faiz hai mere nabi ka e iqbal, durud mein un pe padta hu, rahmat mujh pe barasti hai. Oh, astonishing indeed is the nature of my nabi, O iqbal. I send salutations on him, blessings come on me. Aye. So I'm seeing the green dome and I'm reading Durud and I look to my right and I see there's an Indonesian brother and he's blind, visually impaired. And then it grips my heart and I say, oh shame, he's here but he's not here. He's here but he's not here. And immediately Allah put a thought in my mind, shame is not for him, shame is the one who's blind with the eyes of his heart. Shame is not for the one who is visually impaired. Abdullah ibn Maktoum was also visually impaired. The shortest independent revelation came down for him. غَيْرُ أُولِي الضَّرَرِ لَا يَسْتَوِي الْقَاعِدُونَ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ لا يستوي القاعدون من المؤمنين غير أولي الضرر والمجاهدون في سبيل الله. غير أولي الضرر was not there. Those who sit and those who participate in the campaigns are not the same. Abdullah ibn Maktoum came and he said, O Nabi of Allah, but I'm excused. What about me? غير أولي الضرر, with the exception of those that are challenged, came down independent, exclusive on the request of Abdullah ibn Maktoum. Shame is not for the one he is here, the one who is blind by the eyes, he won't desire to come to Medina. My brothers, there will be an appeal and there are brothers outside. I've taken much of your time. I don't recall if I've been to this place previously or if I have. May Allah bless you all. May Allah reward the brothers and the sisters. I'm saying be part of the cause, my brother. Be part of the cause. See how you can assist the cause. Participate in every good. Participate in every good. Travel, go out, and as Qari Sahib mentioned in the open, remember reaching out to people, helping people. This was the teachings of our Habib Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They say there are many nations, but which is the best nation? Donation. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen, Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله وإليك يرجع الأمر كله علانيته وسره. اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم فصل وسلم وبارك وزد وتحنن وترحم على حبيبنا وقدوتنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب القبر وعذاب الآخرة. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم اجعل أولادنا أبرارا أتقياء وأنبتهم وإيانا في الإسلام نباتا حسنا ولا تجعلهم جبارين أشقياء. اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من كل شر ما استعاذك منه عبدك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. أنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. May Allah bless you all. I urge you as you walk out, be part of it in some way or the other, inshallah. Whatever your commitment, contribution, we cannot do what that woman did, gave up her only piece of land and lived with a mud wall, but surely we can do something. May Allah make it easy for our brothers and sisters and give us the tawfiq to respond. Barakallahu feekum.